This week on the Dawg Show, we'll recap the Vanderbilt game. So grab you a cold beverage and let's go.
All right, them Dogs took a little trip to Nashville this week for what we thought was going to be a monster blowout. It only turned out to be a tiny blowout, as Vandy still, even though they're losing just about every week, they tend to score a touchdown or two.
So that's the first touchdown Vanderbilt has scored on the Georgia Bulldogs since 2018, and they did it in the first 3 minutes of the game.
First drive of the game, yeah.
Playing from behind.
Then they missed a field goal. What would they turn Georgia over? Georgia fumbled or something down there, and then Georgia held them. The defense showed up, held them. They had to kick a field goal.
Yeah,
they missed the field goal attempt there.
Yeah, I mean, look, at halftime it was 24-7. Actually, I thought my minus 31.5 was going to be, well, I said 42-6, but I thought it was coming, man.
Actually, it finished almost exactly how I figured it was going to go. I've looked at Vandy's scoring, and their offense has played pretty decent. I knew Georgia was coming into that game. They just beat the brakes off Kentucky. They're coming off a high. They're rolling into Vandy. How do you get up for that game? You know, you got to go in there and take care of business, but it's going to be hard to roll into that game and go full steam ahead and give 110% on every play. So it really ended exactly how I expected. The stats were similar. Carson played well again. And then it just led us to the big news of the week with our man Brock Bowers getting the high ankle sprain and potentially being gone for the year is the reality.
Yeah, I mean, if the Dogs don't make the playoffs, I don't see any reason he comes back. He would just be stupid to do that. So, but of course, the Dogs are going to make the playoff and win another national championship. So we'll see him very shortly.
I like your optimism, Josh.
Well, I mean, look, Ladd's back. He's going to take the place.
Take over that third down duty.
He's going to take the place. So
Oscar Delp's going to get in there and do his thing.
Yeah, I mean, we got plenty of weapons. Lovett, McConkey, Delp, Thomas, Dylan Bell, Mekhi Muse.
We got so many weapons,
Jackson.
we can't even get them all the ball.
Yeah, Lovett and McConkey this week combined for 13 receptions and 130 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I did like to see in the Vanderbilt game. We got the run game cooking. DeJuan Edwards rushed 20 times for 146, 7.3 average. But then Cash Jones taking it to the bank, 3 carries for 65 yards, averaging 21.7 a carry. So, and then Kendall Milton, of course, is always dealing with some sort of tweak or issue, and he tweaked or issued himself again this game. So,
well, at the end of the game, Cash Jones had a 57-yard run. That was pretty much the majority of his stats, but he did break one loose, so good for him. But let's talk about the Heisman talk a little bit. Is Carson Beck moving up? Is anybody even giving the guy credit?
Nope.
I mean, the guy is setting almost he's on pace to set multiple passing records for the University of Georgia this year.
I mean, it really pisses me off now. Because
we have bets on it.
Well, absolutely. But he's going to be whatever he throws for, whatever it is. Bottom line is he's going to be the quarterback on an undefeated SEC team, and you're not.
If we get by Missouri, we got Missouri's playing well.
Well, yeah, or Florida, or Ole Miss, or Tennessee. I think the Ole Miss game's the one y'all got to say, hey. But anyway, no, he's not getting any love for the Heisman. But look, all that could change if he goes down there to the cocktail party and shows out, and he's going to have to. Honestly, he's going to have to. He's going to have to. He's going to have a great game against Florida. Missouri, what we were just alluding to, what Chris was just talking about, that team's coming in expecting to score 30 to 35 points. Yeah. That's what they're going to be expecting on this Georgia.
And they feel like they can.
Yeah, absolutely, they feel like they can.
And then Ole Miss, like you said, I keep kind of trying to ignore that game in the back of my mind, but I'm worried about it.
Look, Kiffin's always played Kirby good. He was the OC on them Bama teams.
Yeah.
And he can scheme. He knows how to scheme. And he can draw something. Jackson Dart is a mobile quarterback, which is just like Saban always gave this Georgia defense under Kirby problems.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's what I was kind of surprised during that Auburn game, speaking of the running game, because when you guys went to the RPO with that other backup quarterback, you all were getting those fits. Yeah. But then, of course, you brought back in Peyton Thornton. I was glad to see that because y'all went back to the dumpster again.
Peyton Thornton had about 3 runs of 20-plus yards, it seemed like, going around the right side.
62-yard run. God bless him. He's still breathing hard.
Carson's got 2,100, almost 2,150 yards on the season with a damn near 74% completion rate, averaging 9 yards a throw. the 12 touchdowns to 4 picks, and nobody's talking about. He's got a 163.8 QB rating, and he's not even in the conversation. Like, and you know that even though Georgia's schedule hasn't been great, those Pac-12 teams that everybody talks about, they're getting no defense out there. They got no defense to play against.
No. What if Georgia played?
What if Georgia was playing a Pac-12 schedule? Yeah. They talk about our easy schedule, but what if we were playing a Pac-12 schedule? Yeah. Seriously.
Come on. Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back to let's touch on Brock. We've heard every announcer, newscast, media person in sports talk about it this week. But the high ankle sprain, the tightrope surgery. The tightrope surgery has been around for a few years now, and it's actually, for those of you who have watched football for a long time, you can remember those high ankle sprains and athletes trying to come back off those high ankle sprains after 4, 5, 6 weeks, re-injuring it again. Yeah. I've seen a high ankle sprain have somebody out for a season and a half. I mean, just because they keep trying to come back. So that tightrope surgery has kind of been a cure-all to fix that, as long as they don't jump back in the ring too soon. And, I mean, hats off to him. There's no question he's one of the best players in college football. He's not replaceable, but we got enough weapons that combined, multiple people can work together to replace him. So I hope he makes a comeback. I hope that we beat all those teams you just talked about and stay undefeated, and we get into that SEC championship game, and that he's feeling good by then and wants to make a comeback. Because if we don't run the table and we don't have a shot at a national championship or the playoff race at the end of the season, I don't think it's beneficial for him to try to come back in.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, cash in your chips. You're going to be the first tight end drafted. Right off into the sunset. We appreciate you. We loved what you did for us, and keep trucking.
So let's talk about what we have though. So Delp, he's a very good receiving tight end. He's got reliable hands. He can work through the seams. We also have Lucky, and Lucky showed out in the spring game. So I think between those two guys, I mean, neither of them are Brock. They're not going to get the yards after catch that Brock gets, but I think we'll be okay with McConkey coming back. And, we'll just have to work the ball around to the other areas,
Well, Brock's averaging 13.8 yards per catch on 41 receptions, but Oscar Delp has been getting his work this year. He's been in the game. He has caught 13 balls for 160 yards. He's averaging 12.3. I mean, it's not shabby, you know.
That's pretty good. Two touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Like, he's in the mix, you know what I mean? We're not bringing in somebody to replace Brock that's been sitting on the sideline watching.
So how many weeks has Mims been out?
Was it the third game he got hurt?
He's been out a couple weeks, right?
So put that in perspective. Surgery. To put that in perspective, he had the tightrope surgery, and he's already back jogging and running on the sidelines during practice.
Did he get hurt against South Carolina or Ball State? Do you remember?
He got hurt during South Carolina.
Okay, so it was there. Okay.
Yep, and so there's a good chance that he may be playing with Mizzou. So, I mean, if Georgia makes it to the playoffs and we've got some tough games, there's a good chance that Brock may be back and be ready.
Well, Kirby came out earlier today and said there's no timeline on Bauer's return.
Right, because I've heard him talk about he might be ready to go against Tennessee. Now, I mean, that's being very, very optimistic. If not, if he can play against Tech and he wants to play, well, you bet your ass that's the last time he's playing Georgia Tech. He's probably going to play.
I hope he doesn't, though.
But he probably will.
But, I mean, I just hope he does not try to come back too soon and take a chance on doing further damage.
I heard 2 guys today that very, very well-respected college football bettors that when they bet, they moved the line. Period. Like when they bet, they moved the line. Mm-hmm. Both of them said, one of them said Brock Bowers has a 3.5 point move to the Georgia spread, and the other one said 3.
Wow.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge.
One player.
Yeah. The tight end.
Yeah,
right?
the tight end.
The tight end, right. Yeah. Not your running back, not your quarterback, your tight end.
That's how just the pro better, that's what they think of that player.
That's what he brings to the table.
So let's talk about some of the other injuries. Xavier Truss, he had a high ankle sprain, but it wasn't as bad as Bowers. So they're saying that he'll probably be back for the Florida game. So it's probably good. We got this bye week coming up. That'll give some of these guys some extra time to heal. Kendall Milton still kind of limited. He re-aggravated that MCL injury, and he's been dealing with since the South Carolina game. But he'll be back. Roderick Robinson is expected to be back for the Florida game.
That's fantastic.
I do want to give a shout out to Tyke Smith. Tyke played a great game.
Oh, yeah, he
That
showed
kid's been
up.
balling all year,
he had a,
man.
he
Yes,
had a
sir.
good one. Bullard was a little quiet in my mind. Well, he was out there. He played great, but he was not making the big plays. But apparently he was a little bit banged up from a high ankle sprain. That seems like the big thing this year.
Well, he made almost every tackle the previous week,
Which is true, yeah.
Your guys in your secondary can't be the leading tacklers on the team. You can't. My safety can't be responsible for 13 tackles in a game.
I mean, he tackled everybody against Auburn too. That
Well,
joker was all
he
over
was
the place.
everywhere, man. I love that guy, man. He's like the second coming of the honey badger to me. He really
he's
is
good.
similar in size and plays like an animal.
And then Kristen Miller, he went out, got hurt during the Vanderbilt game. He's fine, and there's no concerns with him moving forward. So,
Well, all right, guys, that's about it. We'll jump back on some dog talk next week, see if there's any update on Brock's recovery, and talk a little bit
We'll
about
be
the upcoming
live.
Get ready for
From
the
the cocktail
world's
party.
largest cocktail party.
We'll be live. baby.
live
from the cocktail
action.
party.
Yee.
Head on down to Jacksonville, baby.
go Dogs.
Go Dogs.